there is a diet called the DASH diet, and I do not want to popularize it. I just report what I have learned from it because I do not think that the methods in it are particularly unhealthy or not beneficial for the average person. So here are some guidelines from the book, and most especially portion sizes and types of foods to eat, because I do not believe that the most you should consume of any food is the type of food that you would normally think of, such as bread and biscuit and things like that. Not even protein, honestly. From carbohydrates that are complex yet easy to digest and fast enough absorbing, you want to consume around 3-4 portions a day. And one portion means around one slice of bread, or half a cup of brown rice or quinoa, or one piece of potato. And again, this is for the average person, like regardless of gender. For women, if you have just been starting out on experimenting with diet, I recommend 2 scientific literature. One of those is Dr. Mindy Peltz's work, and the other is Naomi Whittle's Glow 15. Both of these are beneficial, but if you have to choose one, I would recommend Dr. Mindy Peltz, because she bases her research and her results on scientific facts based on female hormones. And for that reason, her work is not only proven and tested, she also recommends a woman-specific diet that really is based around and on high-quality research. So vegetables are good for women, men, all day, every day. What I mean by this is, yes, you can consume too many or too much cruciferous vegetables, for example, because they have a compound in them that is harder to digest. Mushrooms are not regular vegetables. They must be processed through heat. At least they also impact the body differently than vegetables, but some vegetables contain a compound that is only present in raw vegetables. Some non-starchy vegetables do not contain this compound, such as carrots. Carrots are good for you raw or cooked. I like to consume carrots raw because they crack. They produce a sound when I eat them, and I really like that they are not soft. Carrots specifically, that is. I like that they are in their natural form and that they have a color regardless of whether I process them with heat. But one thing about vegetables is that, generally speaking, the more you treat them with water, hot water that is, the more easily digestible they will become. So if you struggle with gut issues or anxiety related microbiome symptoms, then I would say process your vegetables and consume as much of them as possible with hot water. Process your vegetables with hot water and consume as much as possible. And of those, consume at least 3-4 portions per day. One portion would be one mid-sized piece of a vegetable, or 1 cup raw vegetable, or half a cup cooked vegetable. As for fruits, consume an equal amount, but if you would have to compare it to vegetables and just starches, then do try to consume a sufficient amount of fruits, and even more during warm season when fruits are naturally in season. Maybe even 4 portions a day, and 1 portion of a fruit would be 1 mid-sized piece of fruit or half a cup of raw fruit. If you would like to consume dairy or the vegan version, which comes from non-GMO soy, consume 2-3 portions of dairy or soy, and 1 portion would be 1 cup of milk or yogurt. Now, for protein, which is not a form of dairy, if you do consume meat instead of dairy or vegan options for protein, for example, you are paleo or you just really like meat, do consume meat at least 3-4 times a day for women and for men on high days. Naomi Whittel again writes about this because protein cycling is really powerful. So as a woman, I would never, ever, ever, ever go above 3-4 portions of protein per day every 2 days because of how my body thrives on a lack of protein in general. And when I say a lack of protein, I do not mean 0 grams of protein. I mean up to 21 grams of protein per day. And this is for my body specifically. I am a 150-pound woman, if I remember correctly. But you can calculate your own number with Naomi Whittel's book, and I may share her resources soon, and I will definitely title the video Naomi Whittel's Glow 15 resources or some similar thing. And I weigh again around 60 kilograms, so for my body on the most protein focused day, I would never need to consume more than say 42 grams of protein. Some say that we need a specific amount of protein per body pound. That's also a good way to calculate protein need or intake, but again, as long as you are not vegan and so hardcore low on protein, just you do not really need to focus on anything other than eliminating proteins, in my opinion, because as long as you consume just a little bit of protein, which activates digestion in a way where it is completely different from digesting just fiber and plant-based foods and plant foods, you do not need to do much more, honestly. And unless you're built muscular man who eats 3-4 times a day, and all of those meals contain animal products, and you also are a bodybuilder and an athlete, you definitely do not need so much. But 1 portion of protein would be 30 grams of fish, or say my palm size of a piece of fish, or 80 grams of tofu, or 1 egg. For nuts, seeds, and legumes, consume 3 times per week, and One portion of those is half a cup of raw nuts or seeds, 2 tablespoons of nut oil, or half a cup of cooked legumes. For fats and oils, consume them once a day, if at all. One portion could be 1 teaspoon of oil or butter and 2 tablespoons of dressing, or 1 tablespoon of dressing if the dressing is very fatty. For snacks and sweets, consume it 3 times a week. One portion would be 1 cup of juice, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup or any natural syrup, 30 grams of chocolate, or half a cup of ice cream. As for juice in general, I would not recommend juicing unless it literally is your only option, so to speak. But in general, juice is almost like candy, so it does not contain the fiber, and it is completely deficient in a lot of attributes of fruit in general, so maybe it is not the best type of sweet. But I found some great treats on Tia Swan's YouTube channel, one called chia pudding, the other one being my alternative junk food, and my favorite of hers has been autumn marble fudge. And there's also one which is not her recipe, but when I was just coming out of my sugar addiction, I started eating dates with peanut butter inside, and then I put it in the freezer for 2 hours, and they made the perfect chocolate alternative. So, if you are peanut sensitive, or if you are paranoid about legumes lectins, or if you do not consume peanuts in general, then skip that. But you can replace peanut butter with almond butter or cashew butter or tahini. So make your way, because you have many options.